is what I'm trying to say really what's important, what needs to be said? And if I can figure out a different approach, a different path, then sometimes you can figure out really what the heart of your paper is about, or your story, or what it is that you're really trying to say.
Yeah.
And that can be a really freeing and exhilarating thing with revision.
Working with the concept of metanoia, we can change the directions we go in as writers. We can change the movement. Instead of thinking of writing as a linear process, we can think about revision as more vertical, where we go deeper into the layers. For me, I always come back to the first definition of metanoia that I found, that metanoia is a change of mind and heart. It's about transformation, but it's a difficult transformation. It's emotional and some of the harder emotions like regret.
A lot of people say it's a missed opportunity, but I think it's an opportunity to reevaluate what you might have missed. It's a chance, it's a second chance.
Metanoia is going backward to go forward.
Metanoia is reinvention. It's an opportunity. It's regret.
Even if it is a missed opportunity, it's still an opportunity to reflect on what you missed and why you missed it, and a chance to move forward from that.
As part of our theory building process, we look at images of kairos and metanoia. We look at paintings and sculptures, engravings, sketches. We study these images, we analyze the different elements, and then we apply it to the writing process. I learned so much from my students, and when I put these concepts on the table, we invent what it means together. It's important to me to keep the concepts of kairos and metanoia open. It's important that they keep evolving, that we create definitions together as a class.
We were asked to take a piece of writing that we had some space from, whether it was a couple months or a couple years, but just return to it and look for places where we weren't getting where we wanted to go with it.
I think that when I wrote the piece originally, I was a little too close to the situation to have a very good perspective on it, and to be able to write about it in a way that was compelling for an audience beyond myself.
For me, personally, I'm not good with argument papers. I've let every instructor know that, every professor.
In that paper that I went back and looked at through the lens of metanoia, there was a lot of regret. I wasn't as good of a writer, and that kind of makes you kind of queasy to look at, but also because of what I said in the paper. I didn't like myself for allowing myself to say it.
My voice was present in the beginning of the paper, went away, didn't come back until maybe about 9 pages later, towards the end. I used sources throughout all of the piece, and then towards the end I just said, this is what the sources talked about.
Through the metanoic revision process, I wanted to change how I approached that piece, to really examine the why I did what I did, taking it from a place of how things happened to why things happened, and I felt confident that it had more heart, that it answered questions in a deeper way.
Metanoia allowed me to embrace regret, which opened up a huge new world for me with my writing and with the way I think. So embracing the regret that metanoia gives you allows you to be comfortable with where you are and who you were before.
You're able to take this paper to another level, find a deeper meaning, find, in my case, the voice, making sure you're heard. It's not always easy to look back and evaluate yourself and your writing, but it's necessary to get better.
I think that's what the Metanoic revision process asks us to do, is not necessarily to follow a certain guideline, but it asks us to say, what do we really want our audience to understand? What is the heart of the thing that we're trying to communicate?
I think the main thing about metanoia that I feel really strongly, and I hope other people take away, is just this idea of hope. Like, mistakes happen, or sometimes we miss the mark, and that's not a bad thing. It's a really encouraging way to think about things, not just writing, but life in general.